Imagine looking up at the night sky and knowing that, far beyond our fragile atmosphere, rain does not fall as water, but as pure, uncut diamond. What would you do if you could harvest those celestial jewels? Would you become the richest being in the universe? Or would the very act of reaching for them seal your doom? First, let us descend into the cold heart of the giant ice worlds. Beneath the shimmering clouds of Neptune, Uranus, and even distant Pluto, the pressure climbs to levels that dwarf anything we can produce on Earth. At pressures exceeding 10 million atmospheres, carbon atoms are forced together until they lock into a crystalline lattice, forming diamond. It is pressure, not temperature, that is the decisive factor. Without that crushing weight, carbon would remain a simple gas, never becoming a gem. Now picture a sleek probe, engineered with the finest alloys humanity can muster, beginning its descent toward this glittering abyss. As it pierces deeper, the surrounding pressure grows relentless, compressing metal as if it were a soda can. Within minutes, the hull would crumple, circuitry would shatter, and the vessel would be reduced to a cloud of dust before a single crystal could be sighted. Even if some raw diamonds survived the journey, they would be jagged, uncut masses, far from the flawless stones that command fortunes on Earth. Consider the nature of those diamonds. They form massive, irregular clusters, tangled within carbon-rich ice, lacking the precise facets that give us sparkle and value. Their very existence depends on an environment we cannot replicate, and their extraction would demand technology that can endure a pressure that would flatten a mountain on our planet. If, against all odds, you managed to return with a sack full of such stones, the market would collapse instantly. The worth of diamonds rests on scarcity. Flood the earth with tons of them, and their price would tumble to mere pennies per carat. Wealth, in this case, would become an illusion, evaporating as quickly as the dream of a planetary gold rush. So, what truly matters here is not the glittering promise of endless riches, but the stark reminder of how fragile our ambitions are when faced with the raw forces of the cosmos. If this is blowing your mind, hit that subscribe button and let's keep exploring together. Imagine for a moment that the universe had handed us a key, an invitation to plunder a celestial vault where the very fabric of matter is forged into priceless gems. The vision dazzles, yet the reality is a stark reminder that the cosmos does not bend to human greed. In the silent depths of those distant ice giants, pressure builds like an invisible leviathan, crushing everything in its path. No alloy, no composite, no shield that we have ever conceived can survive the relentless squeeze that transforms carbon into diamond. Even the most advanced theoretical materials, whispered about in laboratories, would succumb long before they could cradle a single crystal. Now, let us turn our gaze to the nature of value itself. The price we assign to a diamond on Earth is a construct, a delicate balance maintained by scarcity and the mythos of eternal brilliance. If a sackful of raw, uncut stones were to tumble onto our markets, the very foundation of that myth would crumble. Prices would cascade downward, eroding the wealth of empires built upon a single sparkle. In essence, the promise of limitless fortune would dissolve into a sea of devalued carbon, leaving behind only the echo of an ambition that never could be realized. But there is another layer, more subtle yet equally profound, that lies beneath the glittering surface. The ethical dimension of extracting resources from worlds we have never touched. To contemplate harvesting diamonds from a planet that exists in perpetual twilight forces us to confront the question of stewardship. Do we have the right to reach across the void, to mine an environment that has never known exploitation, simply because we possess the curiosity and the technology, or the illusion of it? The history of our own planet offers a cautionary tale, a record of how the pursuit of riches can scar landscapes, displace peoples, and rewrite ecosystems. Extending that pattern to the heavens would be to repeat a mistake on a cosmic scale. Consider also the psychological impact on humanity if such a harvest were ever achieved. The sudden influx of unimaginable wealth would upheave economies, destabilize currencies, and trigger social upheaval. Power structures built over centuries could be upended in an instant, leading to conflict, redistribution, and perhaps even wars fought over the control of a resource that, in its raw form, holds little practical use. The very notion of a diamond rush in the vacuum of space would echo the gold fever of the 19th century, but magnified by the reach of interplanetary travel. It would force us to ask, are we prepared to handle such a shift, or would we be swept away by the tide of our own avarice? Moreover, the scientific allure of these diamonds is not merely economic. In the laboratory, we study high-pressure physics by recreating tiny pockets of the conditions that birth these gems. Each crystal carries within it a story of temperature, pressure, and time that stretches across billions of years. To pluck them from their natural cradle would be to destroy a unique laboratory that the universe has provided, erasing a source of knowledge that could illuminate the inner workings of planetary formation, atmospheric dynamics, and even the chemistry of distant worlds. In that sense, the true value of those diamonds lies not in their market price, but in the insights they can offer to the curious mind. So, what does all this mean for the dreamer who looks up at the night sky and imagines a pile of glittering treasure waiting to be claimed? It is a reminder that the universe rewards imagination, but it also respects the immutable laws that govern matter. The most compelling stories are those that acknowledge both wonder and limitation. Our fascination with diamond rain is a testament to humanity's unending desire to turn the impossible into the attainable. Yet, the very forces that create such marvels also protect them, ensuring that they remain a marvel rather than a commodity. In the end, perhaps the greatest treasure lies not in the stones themselves, but in the questions they provoke. What drives us to seek riches beyond our world? How do we balance ambition with humility? And when faced with a reality that defies our expectations, do we retreat, or do we learn to appreciate the mystery for what it is? Think about it. If you could stand on the edge of a planet where carbon is forever locked in crystalline form, would you reach for it? Or would you simply marvel at the elegance of physics at work? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective adds another layer to this cosmic conversation. If this journey through the hidden storms of distant worlds has sparked curiosity, let that curiosity guide you further. Subscribe, like, and join this community of explorers who dare to ask the hard questions. Together, we will keep peeling back the layers of the universe, one enigmatic phenomenon at a time.